Hello student. In today's session we will discuss about next part of unit 3 that is forming special forming processes. So next topic is orbital forming. So what is mean by orbital forming, that we will discuss, and how this process will work, that we need to discuss. Okay. So here the orbital forming or orbital forging is a compressive forging technique. As we know that in a forging process the hammer or punch is used to apply the force on a workpiece, and workpiece is flow into the cavity of the die, and then it will take the required shape. So this is the forging process. So in orbital forming is the orbital forging is the another is a one type of the forging process which uses the upper die to apply the uniform forging effect throughout the rotating parts. In orbital forming, the punch that is used is a rotating part, and it will apply uniform forging effect. It will apply uniform forging effect onto the workpiece. Okay. The orbital forging is the one type of the forging process in which uses the upper die to apply uniform forging effect throughout the rotating part. Means in this process the rotating part is used, and which that will apply the uniform forging effect. In order for orbital forging to be, optimum number of factors need to be a control. In orbital forming we need to control, or if we want to control the process, we need to control only some control parts, or we need to control some factors only. Just one example being that the workpiece material including the chemical composition, microstructure and deformability. Okay, means in orbital forging process to control the orbital forging process we need to control only some parts. That is means we no need to control the large number of parts. Okay. So see here how this orbital forging process will work, and after that we will discuss in details. See here, this is a rotating part, and this upper die is inclined to its axis. Means the force that we applied on a workpiece, it means the punch is not at its vertical position, it is inclined some angle. Okay, and it is rotating part. See the process carefully, so you will we will clear all the points. See here, 80% less force is required than the press. Means if we want produce any part by using a press, then and if we use a orbital forging process in which 80% less force is required. Delicate parts. Articulating joints. this is the overall process of the orbital forging. So we will discuss in details. Okay. The orbital forging is the manufacturing process by which part is held in a forging die cavity. Means the part on which we want to work, it will held in a die cavity and forged by the compressive force applied through the upper die. Means the force is applied through the upper die, or we call generally we call it the die and punch, but here we use a term that is lower die and upper die. In a lower die the part is to be held, and in upper die the force is applied. The upper die applies this force as it travels in a orbital path. Means the force that upper die is applying is not applied at all the, means when we apply the pressure, it will not apply at all the portion at a time. It will apply only some portion at a time. Okay. This upper die resolve on an incline axis. As we discussed that the upper die is not properly vertical to the workpiece, it is at incline some angle, and thus through its revolution it will only apply the force to the small portion of work at a time. As I earlier said that at time only the force that applied on a workpiece is not uniformly distributed. It applied at a time only small portion, means at a small portion the force is applied. As the time changes, the position of the force applied portion it changes. Forging force will be administered to the entirety of the work with the complication of revolution of the upper die and its incline orbit. Okay. Now there are several different variant of orbital forging. There are various different orbital forging. The most common means to control the orbital forging process, we need to control some parameters or some factors. So which are these are the workpiece is positioned between an upper and lower tool in a vertical press machine. Means the workpiece is positioned as per our requirement in a upper and lower tool, in which axis of the upper tool is slightly inclined to the specific angle. As we discussed that the upper die is inclined to some angle to the horizontal, that is it is typically 1 to 2 degree, not more. The upper tool perform only rotation motion and lower tool moves upward. As per the automations, sometimes this upper portion will only rotate and the lower portion that we see in a video will move upward for working purpose, but in some cases the upper tool is also rotating and it also move up and down to apply the force. The lower surface of the work is in a full contact with the tool. The lower surface of the workpiece is in a full contact with the tool, while the contact surface between upper workpiece surface and lower tool is smaller as compared to the classical forging process. Means in a forging process that we have discussed that the workpiece is contact with die also and it is completely in a contact with the punch also. But in a case of optical forging process, the workpiece is completely in a contact with the lower die, but it will not completely in a contact with the upper die. The small portion of the die is only contact with the workpiece at a time. Means as the time changes, the contact portion get also changes. Okay. And why this happen? Due to the incline or due to the inclination of the tool. A comparison between a classical and orbital forging illustrated in a figure 2.8. The classical forging angle Y is 0 degree and there is no rotation in die. See here, there are two images. This is the first image, or in image A, this left hand side part will show the classical or a conventional forging process, and the right hand side part of the image A will show the orbital forging process. See here, the force is applied. This is a lower die, this is a workpiece, sorry, this is a workpiece, and this is the upper die, and the upper die is exactly, or the force that will apply is exactly perpendicular to this horizontal surface. Okay, so due to this contact, the contact between a workpiece and upper die is complete, means the workpiece is completely in a contact with the upper die. But if we see in these parts, the upper tool or upper die is some inclination to the workpiece and it is rotating, and due to this rotation only that part, the shaded part, is a contact portion between a upper tool and the workpiece. So in a orbital forging only that portion of the part is in only contact with the upper tool and remaining part is in a not contact, and as the time changes this position of this contact surface is changes. Okay, the contact area between the upper tool and the workpiece is depend upon the tilted angle and the upper tool axis, means the contact surface will, the how many percentage or how many area will be in a contact with the tool of the workpiece will depend on this inclination angle. The greater the angle, smaller the surface area. As we increase the inclination angle, the smaller area will be in a contact with the workpiece, and as the angle increases, smaller portion will be in a contact with the workpiece, and due to this load required is less. The load required for a forging is less. However, the larger angle causes a more complex machine maintenance. Means as inclination angle increases, the contact portion reduces or contact area will reduces, and as the contact area reduces, the force required for a forging operation will also reduces. But it is up to certain limit. After that, if we increase the inclination angle more, then there will be some complications will be formed. They means the complex machine maintenance will be required, or a greater frame deflection will be happen there, which make it more difficult to keep the constant forging precision. Means to make the precision or to maintain the precision, it is difficult. So only means the angle of inclination should be in small range. If we increase more angle, then more complication will be occur. So only so there is only some angle, or the inclination of the tool should be a less angle. Okay. So you see here the angle of the punch axis. Here is some angle of the punch axis. The punch support, there are supports are provided. This is a punch. Punch means we called it as a upper die. Here is a workpiece. These are the guide bays and these are the die. Okay, the parts obtained by the orbital forging and the tool for orbital forging. The tilted upper tool axis can be perform the various motions style presented in a figure 1.b. This is the portion of the contact and uncontact portion. Okay, the figure 2.a shows us some typical parts manufactured in an orbital forging process. Means these are the some parts that are formed or that are obtained in an orbital forging process. Hub, clutch part, bevel gears, and the bridge ejector. So these are the some parts that are obtained by the orbital forging process. There are number of parameters to influence the orbital forging process and thereby the quality of the final product. Means the quality of the final product will be depend on a different parameters. As this parameter changes, the quality of the product will be a change. Or if we want to control this forging process, we need to control on these following parts. Okay, So all the influential factor can be divided into 4 different groups. There are 4 different groups on which these factors or control factor will be depend. So first we know workpiece material. The material of the workpiece which plays a more important part or more important role in factors that we have considered in a forging process. So chemical composition, microstructure and deformability. Then another one is the tool properties. There are different tool properties or properties of the tool, that is tool construction, workpiece position, contact surface properties. These are also effects on the orbital forging process. Then machine properties. Machine properties, which properties that we need to discuss, that is load or energy, production capacity, cinematic levels of the automations. Then fourth one is the technical factors. Which are the technical factors that that are related to the orbital forging process are the forming load, temperature, contact conditions, deformation level, workpiece shape. These are all factors that will affect on the orbital forging process. So here, compared to the extrusion processes, orbital forging offers the following benefits. These are the some benefits of the orbital forging. So which are the various benefits of the orbital forging are: greater degree of the deformation in a single operation. Means if we consider the forging process, we need to apply the forces in several times. Complete process will not happen in a single stroke, okay, but the greater degree of the deformation in a single operations means large number of deformation will be obtained in a single operation in a orbital forming process. Considerably smaller presses is required, as we discussed that the 80% less load is required for the orbital forging process. So here, due to this, the less smaller presses are required. Small presses are required for that. Then reduce the load on a forging die. Due to use of low capacity press, it will reduce the load on a forging die, and due to this load, the load on a forging die is reduces, it will increase the life of the die. More part thanks to longer die life. As we see here, all these factors are related to each other. As the force required for this orbital forging process is less, due to the less force, the size of the press will be reduces. Due to low size or low load, the life of the due to the low load, the force applied on a die will also reduce, and due to the less load on a die, its life is increases. So here, the more parts thanks to longer die life, means life of the die will be increased. Significantly lower generation of the noise and vibration, no impact. As we discussed, there is no impact load. So, and due to this operation, there is no noise and the vibrations. Vibration and the noise is less if we compare it with the conventional forging process. Ready to integration into the production cell, means large number of production can be obtained by using orbital forging process. So these are the some advantages or a comparison of the orbital forging and the conventional forging process. Okay, so this is the overall discussion related to the orbital forging. Now another part is the next process in a special forming process is that the hot isostatic pressing. Hot isostatic pressing. So we will discuss this process firstly. What is this process? See, hot isostatic processing, it is also called as HIP process, is a powder metallurgy technique. Hot isostatic pressing is the powder metallurgy technique. HIP is used to reduce the porosity of the metal and increase the density of the many ceramic materials. as if we consider the part that are obtained by the casting process. Suppose there is a one part and this part is obtained by the casting process, or there is one another part that we obtain by the 3D printing, okay, or additive manufacturing process. If we obtain the any part by the additive manufacturing process, then there is a porosity or there are small holes present inside the parts. And to reduce this type of the porosity or the small holes, this hot isostatic pressing process is used. Okay, see here, these improve the material mechanical properties and the work ability. Means HIP process, or it is also called as the hot isostatic processing. It will increase the mechanical properties and the work ability of the material. It will increase the work ability of the material and the mechanical property. The process uses the combination of high temperature and high pressure to densify the engineering ceramics and the hard material. Means to reduce the porosity or increase the density of the many ceramics, this process is used. And which principle or which mechanical factors they are using? They are using a high temperature and the high pressure. They are using a combination of the high temperature and the high pressure. So what is the pressure range for that purpose? See, the pressure up to the 207 MPa, that is megapascal. 207 megapascal up to 207 megapascal pressure is used, or may be used with the temperature operating range as I has up to 2000 degrees Celsius. Means the temperature in this process, the combination of the temperature, high temperature and high pressure is used. So what is the pressure range? Pressure range is up to 200 MPa and temperature range is up to 2000 degrees Celsius. Now, typically inert gas. What is mean by inert gas? The gas which are not combined with the any other material is called as inert gas. What are the example of inert gas? That is argon, neon, xenon. These are some inert gas. So typically inert gas, argon and nitrogen or nitrogen is used within the pressure vessel to ensure that pressure is applied uniformly from all the sides. As it is isostatic pressure, isostatic means the pressure will be applied on means the pressure is applied same in all the sides, means uniform pressure will be applied. And to apply this pressure uniformly on a workpiece, the inert gases are used. Generally argon or nitrogen may be used for this process. Need of the HIP process. What is the need in a HIP process? HIP process means hot isostatic process. The permissible porosity depends on the application field. Means to remove the porosity on the material, we need this process. Higher load call for a higher density. Means as the load we increase, we get the higher density of the material. Then conventional MP technology, that is press and sinter technology, is most cases doesn't enable to achieve the full density. What is mean by density? Density is mass upon volume. As we increase the pressure, as we compress the any component, then its density will be increased. Suppose we have taken 1 liter of water in a 1 liter bottle, and if we compress it, then as due to this compression, its density will goes on increasing. Okay, so in HIP process also we increase the density of the product by applying the pressure. The hot consolidation process, that is hot pressing or hot isostatic pressing extrusion, unable to produce the full density or near a full density powder material products. Means other processes, the hot consolidation process means it is a hot consolidation process in which full density or near to full density products will be obtained. If there is no holes or there is no porosity present in a material, then we will that will increase the density of the product. So we can remove all the porosity, and so due to that the density will be increased. So near to full density powder product will be obtained. The primary use of heap is to increase the density of the material and increase the strength and reliability of the component. What is the purpose of this? To increase the density, to increase the strength, and to increase the reliability of the material. These are the main purposes of this heap process. In hot isostatic pressing, the container is made up of the high melting point sheet. As we discussed, that is the temperature in the heap process is up to the 200 degrees Celsius. So the container in which this process will conduct, we need to made up of the high melting material, and the pressurizing medium is the high temperature inert gas. To apply the pressure, the generally inert gas is used, and the material that are required for or material for use for a container should having the high melting point, and it should be sustained at the high pressure also. Originally helium and now argon is used as a pressurizing medium. At the initial stage or at the start of the process, the helium was used as the inert gas, but now argon is used due to some advantageous properties of the argon over the helium. That's why argon is used as a pressurizing medium. So how much pressure inside the vessel or how much pressure inside the container is? Total pressure is equal to pressure due to heating plus applied pressure. As all we know that as the temperature increases, pressure is also goes on increasing. So the total pressure is a summation of pressure due to the heat plus pressure applied, means means pressure that we applied by using a argon gas plus the pressure that will increase due to the use of the heat. Pressure vessel require high fatigue and the creep resistance. What properties of the pressure vessel is required? That it should have a high fatigue strength and it should have a high creep resistance. So these properties should possess this pressure vessel. Should be immune to heating, devel and cooling period, coolant fatigue of the cooling system. Okay. Now process. See, this is the equipments that is used in this process. See here, this is these cylindrical parts is our workpiece, and we want to do the heap hot isostatic pressing on this component. This component is placed inside this pressure vessel. This is the high pressure vessel in which this blue color shows the pressure, or this pressure is due to the inert gas. This blue color arrow will show the pressure due to the inert gas, and means the pressure is applied through the argon or neon gases, and this yellow or orange color will show the heat, means the heat is applied to the workpiece. So isostatic pressure up to the 2000 bar and temperature up to the 2000 degrees Celsius. So this is our container, or this is the pressure vessel that is designed for the hot isostatic process. So see, this is the top view of this process. See what are the various parts in it. This is the porous workpiece. This inner circle is our workpiece or a porous workpiece on which we need to perform the hot isostatic process. So this workpiece is surrounded by the furnace heating element. See, this ring will show the furnace heating element. This ring, which is shown by the zigzag line, is the furnace heating element, means heating element which is used to heat the furnace. Then outside that there is a heat shield. Heat shield is there, means this heat should not go outside the vessel. The total heat will generated here, or the total heat generated by the furnace heating element, whole heat should be applied on a workpiece. It will not go outside this vessel. For this purpose, heat shield is provided. outside this pressure vessel, outside this is the pressure vessel, or outside this is the air pressure or gas pressure you will applied up, and outside this there is a water cooling jacket. Water cooling jacket is, what is the purpose of water cooling jacket is that to avoid of overheating of the pressure vessel. So that purposes water heating jacket is provided. And last part is the energy absorption shield. Wire wound means it is the energy absorbing shield. It is the most outsider part of the pressure vessel that is used for a hot isostatic pressing process. So which are the equipments required for the heat process is thermocouples. Thermocouples are used to check the temperature and if the overheating will be obtained to stop the process. Pressure system. Pressure system is used to apply the pressure. Heating element. Heating element is used for the heating purposes. Furnace means this sheet, and pressure vessel. So these are the equipments that are needed for the heat process. So what are the different application of this? Silicon nitride ball bearing. To make the silicon nitride ball bearing, this process is used. Body armor. For body armor, this process is used. Zirconia and alumina dental implants. Multi-layer capacitors, downhole oil fill component, and sputtering target sets. So these are the some applications of this heat process. So see, these are the parts that will obtain or there's need to do the hot isostatic pressing, and these are the means these parts, the parts which are shown in image, such type of the parts need to do the heat process. So what are the advantages? The material or products of the high performance, then heat is near to the net shape process, means net shape process means the size get reduces, but some allowances are there. Due to this, the shape will obtain is exact as per our requirement. Lower unit cost for the large part, and the production volume of the small weight parts also, means it is used for the small parts also, and the production rate is high in this case. The product fully dense, compact of the uniform grain structure and density, means in this process the pressure is applied uniformly on all the sides. So density and the parts which are obtained is fully dense and the density is uniform. Decrease the scattered and recovery of the defective parts, means there are defective parts, the probability of the making a defective parts is less. Improve the ductility and the impact strength, it will improve the ductility and impact strength, and fine grains will be obtained. So this is the our hot isostatic processing. We will see one video related to this, so we will get the about idea.
Beginning as a research program in the mid-1950s at Battelle Memorial Laboratories in Columbus, Ohio, hot isostatic pressing, or HIP, is today used by thousands of industrial companies
that are need to be a HIP process
around the world to improve the performance and durability of a broad range of products and components. This video is intended to provide a basic understanding of the HIP process, its benefits, and its many applications. Hot isostatic pressing is a forming and densification.
See, this yellow color is our workpiece. Outside is heater is there. Then thermal insulator metal, means the heat will generate inside should be goes maximum heat is absorbed by this work metal, and the heat will no go outside. For this purpose this insulation is provided, and the pressure medium, that is inert gas is used to apply the pressure.
Process using heated gas under very high pressure. Unlike mechanical force, which compresses a workpiece from one or two sides, isostatic pressure is applied uniformly on all sides of an object, eliminating porosity without.
And as the pressure is applied on a workpiece is uniform all the sides, so its dimension will not change as further designs it will remain constant.
without changing its net shape. The process can be used to treat preformed metal, ceramic, or composite parts, and for compaction of containerized powder shapes. Over the years, hipping has proven its ability to significantly improve the physical properties of parts used in higher stress applications. Hipping provides the following specific benefits: densification of powdered metal parts to
So here they are discussing some advantages that we already discussed. So this is the overall parts of our today's lecture. So next part we will discuss in a next session.